Johnny Daniel, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! How are you today? It is noon on Wednesday. If you're tuning in with me, please in the comments let me know where you're from so we can see how far away you are. So for a couple of things, normally I wait, but time is precious for everybody, right? So if you're not on with me, catch the replay for the announcements. So if you have not received your mini catalog as well as your celebration brochure, which is what I'm holding right here, please let me know. I'm happy to deliver, arrange for pickup, or mail it to you. Second, the January Stamp of the Month online, completely online inclusive kit is ready for you for $49 or $69. So let me know if you're interested. You will make 3 cards, a set of earrings, and get a pizza box with shaker instructions and everything else ready to go. And if you do the $69 kit, for an extra 20 bucks, you'll get a $21 stamp set as well as your choice of a bonus stamp set. Pretty good deal. So if you're interested in either of those, message me, contact me, whatever you need to do, and we will get that going for you. That is available until the 31st of this month, and then we will be doing in February the Timeless Tulips set. So feel free to contact me for the Painted Poppies, which is this month's Stamp of the Month, and we will get you all ready to go. Last but not least, celebration. If you join this month, and I know everybody says, oh, join, but honestly, $300 a quarter for sales, whether you buy or sell. You get a 20% discount guaranteed, 25% off. Once you hit qualification for sales, which I believe is $1,200, correct me if I'm wrong, it could be $18. I don't remember right off the top of my head. The chart is floating in the air for me. But also during celebration, not only do you get, for $99, you do not pay shipping, so you only pay tax, so it's about $108. You also get a bonus stamp set that you choose. The most expensive one, by the way, in the catalog is $34. You also get a sampler, 6x6 sampler of designer series paper, which is about this thick. And then on top of it, you also get a guillotine mini cutter that is only available for you from January to March. So great bonuses. It's about $60 worth of bonuses, not including the stamp set, because depending on the value of what you pick. So is there anything negative to it? You have to put in your own orders. That is the only negative thing. And for some people that's negative, some it's positive. But for 20% off, that's what you're working for, is to get your own orders. Let's see, what else? What bonuses? You get to see things first. You get to go to on stage. There's all kinds of benefits to it. Only one con. You have to do your own orders, whether you place them online or whether you call them in. So with that being said, if you choose to join up with me, $300 a quarter. If you drop, there's no negative impact to credit. There's no negative impact to anything. You could sign up that very same day that you drop, or not at all, or a year later. It just is up to you. So with that being said, I'm going to put you down and we're going to get to creating this really cute bag. So hold on. One second. We're going to get everything lined up here and ready to go for you. I'm giving a little bit broader view today because I thought it would be a little bit better for you. If you just joined me, say hello in the comments, say where you're from or who you are, depending on what you want to do. All right, so with a little bit broader view, let's get things set up for you. We're going to be creating that cute bag here with the, let's see, Poppy Moments dies, not the stamp set this time, as well as the bees, the bee dies. So that is what we've got going for you. You'll get all the measurements. If you want it in tutorial form, check out the blog post tomorrow, and it'll have the connection for the video as well as all of the instructions. Blog is stampingwithjohnny.com. So you can subscribe to it, or you can just find it. Up to you on what you do. Alrighty, so this bag, right, is what we're making today. Okay, so what you will need is a piece of 8.5 by 11. You will need a piece of designer series paper, and I'll go through the measurements in just a minute. Okay, and then I have already cut out the Poppies Moments dies, the big poppy with the detail on top as well as the center, and the smaller poppy with the background, the detail, and the center. And then I've also gone ahead and done a bee in gold foil to be exact. Okay, so let's get to going on this and we'll see what we think. Okay, so on my table I have snail adhesive, I have dimensionals, and I have tear and tape. I have an 8.5 by 11. Today's color is Flirty Flamingo. I also have a piece of Whisper White, and I have a piece of the Poppy Designer Series paper. Both are cut at 6 1/8 by 3 1/8. And I'll say that again, 6 1/8 by 3 1/8. And that is the dimensions an 1/8 of an inch in of your front of your bag. And then I figured we need something to write on, so that's why I did the white as well. I've already cut out 2 sets of leaves. I've already cut out the bee in copper. The designer series paper for this I used was the Best Dressed, or the Purse one for some of you. The details of the poppies are cut out in Rich Razzleberry. The centers are cut out in Basic Black. Now, unlike this one where I used the Best Dressed, this one, can you guess? This is from the annual catalog, and this is, I believe, the silhouette one. Okay, so I've also got my snips on my table. I've got a refill because I'm getting close, so I don't know, we'll see. And I'm gonna clear most everything out of the way so I can get to using our paper trimmer and get everything scored for you, so that way you can see how this comes together. Okay, so 1 second here. All right, so like I said before, this is, I gotta move this, hold on, I didn't realize paper trimmer goes up there. All right, so with that being said, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, yes. All right, this is our new paper trimmer. I don't know how long I can say new, because it's been out since, what, October, November? Okay, so we'll say new for today, and then tomorrow maybe not anymore. Okay, so for this, I'm actually not trimming anything. So I'm going to put the blade all the way up so I don't mistakenly do anything with it. And then, hey Iris, how are you, hun? So with that, I've got on the 11-inch side, okay, I'm going to score at, let's see, let me get this in the center better for you. I'm going to score at 2 inches, okay. I'm going to score at 5 1/4. Make sure not to get that dark one. You don't want to cut it, right? All right, and then we're going to score at 7 1/4. And then we're going to score at 10 1/2. Now this 10 1/2 one, that's actually going to be your tab for your bag, so it all comes together, okay? And then we're going to turn this, and we're going to go on the 8 1/2-inch side, and we're going to score at 6 1/4. Okay, so all right, so this is our bag now. You're like, that doesn't look like a bag to me. Well, guess what? It's gonna be, I promise. All right, so with that being said, I don't know if you can see or not, but I've got my tab over here. I've got the side of the bag, and these are the little sides. So these are the little ones. This is the front and back. And then on the bottom here, I've got my tabs, yes, and my bottom of the bag. I hope you can see that. So with that, let me mark this. Hold on, maybe that'll help. Now you guys can see the scores. I know they're not perfectly straight, but it's okay because it'll be on the bottom of the bag, right? All right, so with that, I'm gonna fold this bottom line, okay? And I'm gonna trim up. And I'm gonna trim up. Now you're trimming up to the bottom of the bag, and then you're also trimming along all the score lines. We're not cutting anything off just yet. If you prefer to use the trimmer, you can use that as well. All right, and then I'm gonna fold rather along all the scores. If you want a crisper fold, you can always use a bone folder. Okay, so with that, we're gonna see how this comes together so you have a visual. Okay, so with that, this little tab's gonna be cut off, okay? And then we'll see how these tabs come out, but when I did this before, we're gonna glue this side first, cut this tab off. Let's finish that. When I did this before, my sides were a little bit too long and I had to trim, okay? If you prefer to do it with the trimmer, you can, but I wanna look really quick because if I need to do this, I can still do it with the paper trimmer and not have a whole bunch of excess. So see how that's gonna go over? So we wanna actually cut probably, we are probably gonna cut, I'm thinking 3/4 of an inch. Now, if you need more, you can always go back and do more, but you can never do less if you know, if it's too short, it's too short, right? But if it's too long, you could still cut more off. So if you're joining me, please say hello. All right, so I'm gonna grab my tear and tape. The great thing about tear and tape, you can tear it. So I'm just roughly measuring. I wanna get this whole side so nothing's gapped. And what's great about this tab is, what do you think? It's wider than the tape. If it happens to not be wider than the tape on another project, what you're gonna do is just roll your fingers back. So that way, it doesn't stick out off the edges, okay? So for me, I like that seam in the back, so I wanna have that towards the back. All right, so I've got my little tabs here, and then I've got my, yay, it fits perfectly. Love it, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I actually don't want to go all the way across on this first strip because when you're doing that, if you go all the way across, guess what? You're gonna have a sticky spot in the middle, right? You gotta think about that. So what I actually want to do is I'm gonna glue here on this tab and I'm gonna glue here on the other side of this so I don't have anything spanning the middle and having stickies come through, okay? If for any reason you can't get these to peel off, just press down a tiny bit. The warmth of your finger will make them go a little bit easier. And if that still doesn't work, guess what else you can do? Do you know? you can grab your piercing tool and peel it up, or the end of a scissors. Up to you on what you decide. Okay? If you like more of a mitered look, you might want to tailor the ends of your bag a tiny bit. Helps if you peel it off, doesn't it? So you might want to tailor the edges of your bag if you want the edges to be more this way or this way. Personally, I'm just going to do mine flat. And you want to come inside and just press. And then there's my bag. Okay? Now, next, and the phone's ringing, of course, because this is my life. Alrighty, so I have got one more ring. And then I've got all my pieces and parts here. So I'm going to grab my snail adhesive. Now, if you want a lot of pink, do a lot of pink. Okay? If you don't want a lot of pink, flip it over. Personally, because we did a lot of pink last time, or not a lot of pink, I'm going to do pink this time. Okay? Now this to me looks also a little bit more towards the poppies as well. So you want to go inside so you don't want to flex this and mash, okay? So you want to make sure to put your fist in there and then glue it down, okay? And then I've got my Whisper White here. And I've got my Peaceful Moments and my poppies. Okay. I'm going to grab a block. And we're just going to decorate a tiny bit. Tiny bit. Now, I'm thinking happy birthday is, you know, the quickest, easiest, whatever. Also, thank you is one that comes to mind all the time. Yeah? So what I'm gonna do is just do a quick stamp to get my background done. Okay. So I've got my thank you here. Okay. So there's that. You want to make sure to hold that down a couple seconds so that ink goes into the paper. And normally I wouldn't reach across and clean, but I want to use the same block. So there we go, right? And then on the painted poppies, we're just gonna grab our border one with all the little ones, okay? Now I'm gonna stamp this off first so it's not quite so dark. And then we're just going to go on the bottom there, okay? So that's our background. Now we have room to write and do everything and whatever else we need, right? So I'm gonna glue that really quick onto the back. I just ran out. So let's teach you how to refill, okay? So all of our snail refills or tape runners or let's see, I don't know what else we call them. Anyways, they all have a clip on the bottom, which you open to use. And then you've also got an arrow here, and an arrow here. Those you're going to squeeze. And then you have two halves, okay? The two halves, this one's obviously done. So we're gonna throw that away. Now this guy you don't wanna throw away unless you want to buy a whole new cartridge. Now, they do wear out. You want to make sure there's not too much gunk, adhesive gunk, in these. It spins freely. And after, I don't know, about 3 to 5 years for me with classes, so you're probably going to look at between 5 years. Depends on how much you stamp and how much you do and how hard you press and all that kind of stuff. But the gears do wear out. I do guarantee the refills that they work. But I'll be honest with you, if you don't keep it kind of gunk free, guess what happens? It's just not going to work, okay? So you do have to do that. I recommend taking some Goo Gone to it, because if you do nail polish remover, it's a bit harsher. So just grab a little bottle of Goo Gone next time you go to Walmart and grab a Q-tip and you'll be good to go. Okay, so when you have the refill all out of the cartridge or out of the cardboard, you are going to have a new one. Yay! So you literally just line it up, snap it together, pull the clip down, and you're ready to go again. Okay, now occasionally I do get bad batches of these, so you want to make sure to check them. And I think I've had 2 bad batches in 13 years. So not a hard record to keep, but also if you want to write on this, you might want to do it before you glue, or you're going to end up having to stick something in there, whether it be your hand, and then try to write. Okay, so you got to be a little creative when you do that. All right, so we're going to grab our pieces and parts. We're going to start with the leaves. Now, I'm going to use the snail adhesive. You can use fine tip glue. You can do a whole bunch of other stuff. You can use our multi-purpose glue. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, but I've got the snail on my table, so guess what's going to happen? That's what I'm going to use. Go down to one of your corners so you don't have stickies all over the place, and then you can fold your corner in when you're done. Okay, so I'm just going to go on my leaves. Make sure to kind of hold the leaf, and I say that so you end up not pulling it and tearing it off. Okay, it's not the end of the world if it happens, but it's not fun. We'll just say that, huh? So we've got this, and we're gonna just touch those leaves. Okay. And I'm just going to place in place. Now I'm pushing a little. If you get stickies, make sure to use your embossing buddy, an eraser. If you do an eraser, pull only, don't go back and forth. It'll piddle your paper and you will not be happy. Okay, so there's our 2 leaves. Now I'm going to construct our poppies with our centers. Now when you're cutting these centers out, make sure you have like a little spatula. It comes on your take your pick tool to get these off, because it kind of embeds, especially if it's on a new plate, and you'll end up trying to peel it off, and it sometimes is just not pretty. Let me fold this corner up before I get more stickies on me. Okay, so with that being said, you need to also pay attention because there is a front and a back to these. There's dimples kind of in the center here, and I don't think you can see those, but it almost looks like a golf ball. So if you put it on the back side, it's flush and nothing to it. So you just want to pay attention to which side is what. Okay, so you're gonna kind of line these up. Got it? And I'm running my snail again. If you prefer glue dots, if you prefer fine tip glue, multi-purpose glue, I don't know of any other magic ones, you will be just fine. But because that's what's on my table, guess what I'm doing? Okay, so I've got that going on. And then I'm gonna throw this down here, and I'm just going to do a little touch of my snail adhesive. Okay. All right, so those are my poppies. I gotta get my centers on. Now I'm gonna grab my box of glue dots to get these guys going. When you use glue dots, make sure you look on the roll and not the sheet, because if you look on the sheet, you're unrolling a whole bunch, and then guess what happens? Your glue dots end up getting glued into the box. So I'm just gonna press my glue dot on there. You wanna not touch these as much as possible, because obviously guess what happens if you touch them? They get less sticky. Go figure, huh? So there's my center of that one. And then this guy's a little bit smaller. We're gonna see if a glue dot fits on him. If not, roll it back a little bit. You'll be just fine. Make sure to hold the center of this and not the ends, because you will tear them off, I promise. I already have today. Okay. Okay, so I've got my 2 poppies and I've got my bee. Okay. Now my bee is a delicate guy, so I'm going to grab my snail adhesive and do that again. But everything else I'm going to run with dimensionals. One thing to note with the foil, you do not want to get glue on the front because it will mar it and it won't have the same finish. Okay, so there's my bee. If you got stickies, tap it with your embossing buddy afterwards. I'm going to start with my bigger guy, and that's going to go down on the bottom. Now I can move a tiny bit so I don't get into my stickies again, because if I fold it again, guess what's going to happen? It's just going to become too small, I think. So, peel these guys off. If you have trouble peeling them, stick your fingernail on there. Your thumb works great, and it gives it just enough flex to get you going and get that peeled off easily. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this where I want, paying attention to putting my hand inside and not flexing my box. And then I've got the other side of my poppy. Not saying posies this week, so I'm doing pretty good. All right, so I've got that, and I'm going to put that right on the base of that other leaf. Okay, so there you have it. There is the infamous bag. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned tomorrow. I'll have the full tutorial up as well as the video link and everything else, so you'll have all the measurements if you didn't follow me close enough today. And without anything else, I will say thank you for joining me. I hope you had a great lunch while you sat and watched, and go create. If you need the painted poppies, look in the link above or below depending on how it posts. I have a current host code as well as how to order online, or you could always message me so that way I can get everything to you. Generally, every Monday evening I have an order going out. So thank you so much again. Follow me, stampingwithjohnny.com. Have a great day. Bye-bye.